Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Robo Celestial here with a new video for you. Welcome to What If Deku Had Perfect Combo Part 2. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. During the remainder of the 10 months of training before the UA entrance exam, Izuku and Bakugo train hard by cleaning up the beach with their quirks and clearing junk with their bare hands, increasing their physical strength by a good amount. While it isn't anything major, it's still impressive progress nonetheless. They also increase the power of their quirks by a great amount and even learn how to control them better. After the first 6 months, they finally clear off the beach and start to focus on combat and quirk skill training, which they are allowed to do with their special permit because they did clean the beach. During the last 4 months of their training, they improve greatly on their control, reflexes, and overall skills with their quirks, especially Izuku, who feels better about using his quirk, but he still has a ways to go and still doesn't like using it towards other people, with Bakugo being the one exception. On the day of UAS entrance exam, Izuku and Bakugo arrive to the school ready to pass. As the two of them are walking into the building, Izuku trips but doesn't hit the ground thanks to a girl named Ochako Uraraka using her quirk on him. The girl then helps Izuku back up onto his feet as she says, "Wow, that was close. I hope you didn't mind me using my quirk on you, but I figured you wouldn't want to slam your face into the ground right before a big test." Bakugo adds in, "I did, it would have been hilarious." Izuku replies to Ochako a little nervous, "Gee, thanks, I appreciate the help. Good luck on the test." Uraraka smiles and leaves, and as she does, Bakugo remarks, "What was that, Ryu? You seemed a little nervous. Did you just fall for her?" Haha. Bakugo makes a few more jokes as him and Izuku walk into the auditorium where Present Mike starts to explain the rules of the exam. But it's all pretty boring until the practical exam is about to start. But one thing to note is that Izuku did well on the written exam due to him having enough free time to study. Once at the testing site, Ryu is getting himself ready when he notices Uraraka and tries to go over to talk to her, but before he can present, Mike yells out, "Ready, go, go, go." There's no countdowns in a real battle, officially starting the exam. Everyone immediately runs off to start getting points, including Izuku, and as he's running through the fake city streets, he gets stopped by a 1-point robot, which instantly charges straight at him. Ryu, in reaction, breathes a burst of flames, damaging the robot but doesn't destroy it. Izuku then breathes more fire and finishes it off, realizing in the process that this will be harder than he initially thought. So Izuku takes this brief opportunity to empty all of his pockets, which are full of paper and other flammable objects, and heats up his hands, setting it all on fire, creating a small inferno of green flames. Ryu then makes multiple compressed fireballs, which are twice as powerful as his ordinary fire attacks, and starts running around the test city destroying robots as fast as he can. As the exam is about to end, Izuku has gotten about 30 villain points either by using his fireballs or by heating up his hands to weaken the metal of the machines, and a piece of scrap to land a finishing blow, but also thanks to him helping other people, he has about 13 rescue points as well. As Ryu continues to look for more robots to destroy, the massive 0-point bot appears, wiping out entire buildings, causing many people to run and panic, with Izuku about to do the same when he hears someone behind him scream. Turning around, he sees the girl he met before the exam trapped under some rubble, and without even thinking or realizing, Ryu instantly starts running over to her. As he does this, the green-haired boy begins to gather all the fire he had left into a single ball and starts to breathe as much fire as he can, adding it to the ball, creating an inferno large enough to consume a 5-story building, catching everyone's attention in the process and leaving them awestruck. After Izuku compresses the fireball, he sends it flying at the 0-point robot, hitting it with enough force and power to scorch its torso, knocking it off balance enough to keep it from moving for a bit. When Izuku makes it to Uraraka, he starts lifting the rubble off of her. While it isn't easy, he eventually moves the rubble and asks her if she's okay, but Ochako replies that her ankle is injured and that she can't walk on it. As she says this, the 0-point bot starts heading towards them again, and Izuku immediately picks Uraraka up and carries her away from the bot, while she also uses her quirk to make him go faster. But after a couple of steps, Present Mike yells over the loudspeakers, "And that's it, time's up. That's the end of our practical exam. I hope you all rocked it." A siren then goes off, signaling the end of the exam. After that, Izuku slows down and relaxes a little when he remembers that he's still carrying the girl he just saved, and gets a little embarrassed about it. As he's putting her back on the ground, he asks Ochako how she's feeling, and she answers while giving a cute smile, "Pretty good, thanks to you," which makes Ryu blush and laugh nervously. Not long after that, Recovery Girl shows up and heals Uraraka's ankle, allowing her to walk. She then thanks Izuku for the help, and after a very short conversation, they both go their separate ways. A little over a week passes after the exam, When Izuku finally gets a letter from UA and once he opens it, a hologram video of All Might suddenly appears shouting, "Booyah, I am here to bring you some good news." Surprised by this, Izuku jumps up saying, "All Might, but this is from UA, does this mean?" The hologram All Might interrupts Izuku, confirming that he is UA's newest faculty member. All Might then states, "Young Midoriya, congratulations on getting into UA. You had an impressive score of 30 villain points and 53 rescue points for a total of 83 points, giving you the highest score in the practical exam. Well done. I remember about 10 months ago you asked me if you could be a hero and save people even with a dangerous quirk like yours. Well, you've proved it in the entrance exam by helping and saving a few people. This is your first big step towards becoming a hero. I look forward to seeing you at UA, young hero in training." The hologram message turns off and Izuku sits there for a second, not believing that he got into UA or that his idol gave him such high praises. Ryu then gets a big smile on his face and jumps out of his chair celebrating, more excited than ever to go to UA, and he spends the rest of the time he has left before the first day getting everything ready. During the time before the new school year at UA starts, Bakugo finds out about Izuku's score and is admittedly frustrated that he got second place, but he's decently cool about it and tells Ryu not to get too comfortable because he'll be surpassing him soon enough. This makes the two friends' rivalry much more serious, but it's still pretty chill. After some time has passed, the first day of UA finally arrives and we join Izuku and Bakugo as they walk down the hallway looking for Class 1A. After walking around for a few minutes, they finally find their class. As they open the door and walk in, everyone looks at them while heading to their seats, but before the two could sit down, another student with glasses jumps up to them and introduces himself. "Greetings, my name is Tenya Ida. You two were the ones who got the highest scores on the practical exam. It's an honor to meet you. I'm proud to be in the same class with two exceptional students such as yourselves." Bakugo replies with a blank stare. "Damn, you're a square just like Ryu here. I really can't handle another one, but hell, I bet you'll get along great with each other by the end of the day, and maybe then this hothead won't bother me with his nerd stuff, haha." Bakugo chuckles while walking over to his seat where he sits down and puts his feet up on the desk, causing Ida to chew him out for being disrespectful when Izuku butts in, apologizing for Kak. "I'm sorry about him. Don't mind Explosion Boy, he has a unique personality and takes some time to get used to, but once you do, I honestly don't know, it hasn't happened for me yet, haha." Izuku grins and laughs as Bakugo replies, "Oh, very funny, you dumb nerd, how are we even friends? I'm starting to think you bribed me or something." Ada looks at the two as they continue to joke around and with a slightly stern tone says, "I see, so you're both old friends. That explains why you're so nonchalant about your behavior. I'm keeping my eye on you," points at Bakugo, "and as for you, Ryu was your name. Despite your behavior, you seem to be a little different than your pale, but nevertheless I won't let your shenanigans interfere with mine and everyone else's education. Understood." Izuku tries to correct it on his name, but before he can, Uraraka walks through the door and immediately runs up to Ryu excited and shouts, "Hey Fire Boy. You're the guy who saved me during the practical exam. I really can't thank you enough for that. You're my hero. I'm so glad we're in the same class. This will be great." Once Izuku recognizes Ochako, he gets slightly nervous, but as he gets ready to properly introduce himself, a man in a sleeping bag appears in the doorway, surprising everyone, causing them to stop talking long enough for the man to say, "So you're all done talking? Finally, it took long enough. This won't work if you're interested in just talking all day. You aren't here to make friends." The man gets out of his sleeping bag as he continues, "My name is Soto Aizawa, but call me Mr. Aizawa, and I'm your teacher." Everyone is caught a little off guard by this, but says nothing as Mr. Aizawa pulls a gym uniform out of his sleeping bag and says, "Now if you're done wasting enough time already, change into these and meet me outside for your first assignment." After saying this, Aizawa walks away, heading outside while all the students leave and change into their gym uniform. When the class gathers outside, Mr. Aizawa explains that they'll be doing a quirk assessment test to see what they're capable of, but when Uraraka asks about orientation, her teacher plainly says that since UA isn't tied to tradition, he can run his class as he sees fit. Aizawa then tells everyone to think of this as a standardized test that they can use their quirks for, and turns to Izuku, asking him to give an example by using his power to help throw a ball. Ryu replies, "I'm sorry sir, but my quirk can't be used for stuff like that. I would just burn up the ball. I'm not suited for physical tests like this. It's a bit of a disadvantage for me in retrospect." Aizawa scoffs and responds, "Well, of course, how do you think it will be when you're a pro? Newsflash, life is unfair and there will be plenty of times that your foes will have the advantage over you. This test is to see if you can adapt and are worthy of becoming a pro one day. That's why whoever comes in last for this test will be expelled immediately." Hearing this surprises everyone, and after some protesting, Aizawa bluntly says, "I don't want to hear it. If any of you have a problem with this, then you better just leave." I won't let anyone without potential or skill to be in this school or become a pro. So unless you impress me and give this test your all, then I'll expel every single one of you if I feel like it. Understand? Everyone looks at each other and hesitantly ready themselves for the tests, which makes Aizawa smirk as he says, "Good. Don't disappoint, and Izuku, I'll let you skip your ball throw until the very end, but if you can't come up with a way to use your quirk for any of these tests, or if you come in last place, then you're out of UA." Now on to the first test, and with that the quirk assessment test begins. As everyone takes their turns for the 50-meter dash, Izuku is thinking of a way to use his quirk and eventually gets an idea after seeing what a guy with a laser did. When it's Ryu and Bakugo's turn, they both walk up to the starting line and get ready for the mark to go. Once they are told to go, Kaken blasts off using his explosions while Izuku turns around and breathes out a large amount of fire from his mouth, making him move quite fast as he crosses the finish line a few seconds after Bakugo, with a time of 5.1 seconds. This catches everyone's attention and impresses them. Even a white-haired guy named Todoroki was a little surprised by the show of firepower, but everyone moves on not long after and all the tests continue. While Ryu was able to do well on the 50-meter dash and get a good score on the long jump, he was unfortunately unable to do much else for the other tests due to them being purely physical, bringing his score down by a lot. By the end, there was only one more test for him to do, the ball throw, and while everyone else did it earlier, Izuku's turn was saved for the very end. So everyone was watching in suspense to see what he would do. Izuku knew if he didn't get a good score on this, then he'd be kicked out of UA, something he definitely doesn't want, and as he walks up to the plate, Kaken shouted at the top of his voice, "Ryu, you better not screw this up or else I'm going to start calling you Deku again for the rest of your life." Got it. And immediately after, Uraraka shouts, "Yeah, come on Ryu, show Mr. Aizawa that you belong here." Izuku looks over and nods his head at them with a determined look on his face, and as he grabs the ball, Ryu stands there lost in thought, trying to get a complete idea together. When Aizawa tells him to throw it or get expelled for wasting time, this brings Izuku back to reality, and in a heartbeat he throws the ball up into the air and breathes a fair amount of the lowest temperature fire he can make, which is roughly 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 148.8 Celsius, and quickly condenses the flames into the size of his hand, and uses it to catch the ball before it hits the ground, and carries the ball as far as he can, all while using as much control as he possibly can to keep the ball from being consumed by the flames, and manages to get it out to 157 meters before he finally makes the fire go out, allowing the ball to hit the ground in a slightly crispy condition. This takes everyone by surprise with the exception of Uraraka and Kaken for obvious reasons, but everyone else is amazed that Izuku can control his fire like that, and as he walks over to the class, everyone gives him a good amount of praise before Aizawa orders them to quiet down. A minute passes before the results of the quirk assessment test are shown. When they are, Izuku looks for his name and finds that he's in 18th place with an invisible girl right behind him and a guy named Mainta in last. A wave of relief washes over Ryu, feeling better that he won't be leaving UA just yet, but while he feels better, Mainta is sobbing and begging Mr. Aizawa not to expel him when the exhausted teacher sighs and says, "Calm down, despite you coming in last and being so annoying, I won't expel you or anyone else here. I see potential in all of you, so you're safe for now, but I'll change my mind in a heartbeat if you give me a reason to, so watch it." Aizawa then turns around and walks away as the class finally relaxes after a stressful test, and once Mr. Aizawa walks around the corner, All Might greets him and has a small discussion before asking, "So did any particular students stick out to you for any reason?" Walking away, Aizawa replies, "If you mean their quirks, then yes, but if you mean anything else, then maybe, but sadly I'm not in the mood to chit-chat with you right now, so I'll be on my way." Mr. Aizawa turns another corner and leaves a slightly disappointed All Might standing there. Some time later, at the end of the first day, as Izuku and Bakugo are walking out of UA, Ada walks up to both of them and congratulates them on making it past the test, with Ryu doing the same, but after a minute Uraraka runs up to the group of three and asks if they all can walk to the station together, which they agree to. As the group is walking away from the school, Ochako introduces herself with Ada, Bakugo, and Izuku doing the same when the cheerful girl asks, "Wait, your name is Izuku? Oops, my bad. I thought it was Ryu because that's what Bakugo calls you." Izuku gets a little embarrassed and nervously laughs while replying, "Oh haha. Well, you see, Kaken calls me Ryu as a dumb little nickname because I breathe fire like a dragon. It's weird, I know." Ochako quickly smiles and says, "No, I don't think it's stupid at all, it's actually pretty cool. Ryu would be a great hero name, plus I think it's really cute too." Izuku profusely blushes and instantly blurts out, "Okay, Ryu will be my hero name and you can me that too. If you want." This makes Uraraka smile while Bakugo starts chuckling and grinning at the whole situation. When he says, "Ha, I called it. I knew you fell for her the day that you meet. Kakin immediately bursts out laughing after saying this, while Ochako just stands there wondering what he meant by that comment. Eventually, Ryu changes the subject while the new group of friends continue to the train station as they all get to know each other a little more. That is until they have to go their separate ways and head home, officially ending the first day at UA. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video. So goodbye and have a divine day.